let's meet the starting lineups for this afternoon's contest. First, for the Rainbow Wahine.
The semifinal round has arrived. 4 teams vying for the opportunity to play for this, the National Championship Trophy. Up first, number 1 seed Stanford, champions of the MPSF, taking on the Big West winners, the 4 seed Hawaii. Here's our bracket and the journey to this semifinal round thus far. For Stanford, they dispatched Wagner 28-6 yesterday. Hawaii in a thriller, coming back against Cal after building a big lead. They move on to the semifinals. Other half of our bracket, we'll see up next UCLA and USC, a battle of LA here in Indy. Bruins past LMU, and the Trojans holding off Harvard. And with that, we bring you here poolside inside the IU Natatorium, joined by the Olympic legend, the Hall of Famer Brenda Villa. Greg Meskel here with you. Brenda, looking forward to Stanford in Hawaii. Let's talk Cardinal first for a minute. A lot of pressure on this Stanford squad. 5 Olympians. Expectations are high.
Yes, all that firepower and experience, but I would also say with the heartbreak of Paris brings a lot of perspective. So I look to that leadership of the highs and the lows that they've been through to lead their team through those pressure situations.
And then Hawaii, they are coming off a huge win. They've got to keep the emotion up.
Yes, and that's hard. And like, great win last night, and there's highs and lows in the sport. But, you know, I think they're ready with, you know, James Robinson, a great coach that probably has been through some highs and lows. He's prepping through that with them, so it should be an exciting game.
Bernadette Doyle, a key piece for this Hawaii team, the Big West Player of the Year. They'll count on her to make things happen. Stanford, of course, powered by Ryan Neuschel. She had 3 goals on Friday. She had 6 the last time these two got together. She's the MPSF Player of the Year, so you've got dueling conference Players of the Year here as we get started. It's Stanford in the dark caps, Hawaii in the light. It'll be the Cardinal to control, moving left to right here on your screen for John Tanner. Same starting lineup as yesterday, except a change in the cage. Christine Carpenter, their typical starter, she goes in goal. Juliette Dalloween, Romer, Healy, Flynn, Woodhead, and Neuschel. Here's Dalloween, the Olympian from France. Wave it off. No goal there. A turnover on Stanford. It'll come back to Hawaii. They go with Daisy Lockton's in the cage again. Same starting lineup for their squad as well. Doyle, Ronnie Perlman, Vernu, Wedderburn, Radosavljevic, and Morgan Rios. For head coach James Robinson, his first season as a head coach. John Tanner, his 28th season.
Yeah, we'll see which team establishes their game plan first. Will this be a fast-paced game, a slow-paced game?
Offensive there, so each team turns it over. James Robinson said pregame, we played them, it was early in the year, it was January. We can't get into a swim meet with Stanford, we'll be in trouble. They jumped on Hawaii early, ripped off 5 goals in a row after getting down 1-0. Ryan Neuschel moving in now, first power play here of the afternoon.
And leave it to Ryan Neuschel to earn that exclusion on the counterattack.
And here's Neuschel now. Romer. It's Flynn. That's denied. Rebound, corralled, and controlled by Hawaii. So the defense holds there on the first power play for the Cardinal.
Yeah, and, you know, it's who's going to settle down. There was, 2 turnovers and now a great opportunity, and no one has established control of this game yet.
Second look there at the defensive effort. Hawaii came out strong against Cal. Big 3-goal burst before the Bears rallied back. And then Hawaii put together a strong fourth quarter. Looking from the outside now, and a save. Carpenter denies that attempt from Perlman from the perimeter.
Looks like Stanford's looking to counter there with Romer, which might be harder. They were in a really deep zone, so we'll see.
Second look there at the stop from Carpenter. Meanwhile, Romer trying to go one-on-one. They'll call offensive, swimming over the top of the defender there, and a turnover.
Hey, it looks like the physicality, Stanford's trying to push that early on to see if it'll be to their benefit.
Entry, that pass is off target. Tried to find a Wedderburn on the hand. She's looking up for a call. Instead, it's a takeaway by Quinn Healy. Officials in this one, Scott Volz, Peter Sofa-Bamixe. And now Romer pushing to Neuschel. Inside Woodhead. In trouble here and a penalty. Woodhead got inside position as Radosavljevic was closing in, and they give the penalty.
That was great transition, right? From a steal at center to one outlet pass to a cross pass to a center to a penalty. Good work.
Ella Woodhead was a dominant force yesterday in the big win over Wagner. Now here's Flynn from the 5-meter line to get our first goal of the day. And rattles the cage. Jenna Flynn and Stanford on the board with the 5-meter connect.
Penalties, penalties, right? That's your first objective.
Quick release there from Flynn. All-time series heavily in favor of Stanford. 36-1 all-time against Hawaii. Last year, early in the season, an overtime win for Hawaii. First ever victory over the Cardinal. Part of a banner season for the Rainbow Wahine last year. From the outside here, field block, denying that attempt on the try from Radosavljevic from the outside.
Yeah, and I mean, Stanford's in a deep zone, but all those hands are also in front of the goal.
Now Dalloween pushing. Flynn's got another. Quick strike, 2-0. Jenna Flynn has both.
I will say it is impressive from being in a deep zone to be able to get these counterattack goals.
Second look here. And that's Flynn converting. Stanford fans, so far so good. A 2-0 start here for the Cardinal. And now Doyle, Hawaii trying to find their offense. Wedderburn to about 6 meters, tries a little no-look attempt, and that's off the post, and the rebound controlled by Christine Carpenter.
What a good look.
Yeah.
I mean, make sure that goalie's paying attention.
That one almost slid on that far post. And now Romer working through defenders. Ordinary there. Coming up on 4.5 to go in this first quarter, a 2-0 start for the Cardinal. Outside to Healy, and she's high of the cage. And then on the way down, an exclusion. And we'll see Hawaii with their first power play. James Robinson telling his group to move. Doyle now on the attack. She'll have some space to work with. Doyle into 5 meters. Hawaii now will set things up on the player advantage. From the outside, Carpenter all over it. So in transition, Hawaii a look from the outside. Stanford with the stop, and both teams now 0 for 1 on the 6-on-5.
Yeah, I was, quick 6-on-5s, late 6-on-5s. I was hoping for some more passes from Hawaii.
Yeah, ended up with an outside shot, something they've been getting anyway. And now another exclusion here. So Stanford will have a power play down this end.
Another quick transition to Woodhead there. That was good movement.
Dalloween goes around to Romer. A save, field block there, but the rebound right inside, another block. Lockton's a couple of huge saves. Daisy Lockton's coming up clutch. That rebound right in front looked to be an easy follow for Stanford, but she stood tall.
What a save.
Look at this, couple of rebounds, frantic scene in front of the cage. In the meantime, Hawaii gives it right back. They try to get Morgan Rios involved on the post-up, and that bounces away.
I mean, it still seems like both teams are a little frantic right now, which you would expect in a semifinal in the first quarter.
And now another exclusion. Another power play coming here for Stanford. Dalloween moving in. Bar down, cannot convert. Wedderburn covers up. And so right now, Stanford 0 for 3 on the player advantage. That is keeping Hawaii in the mix right now.
Yes, and his coach is right. It's either you can attack the first 5 seconds of that power play or the last 5 seconds. So I don't know. They're not quite in their flow yet, but quick attacks sometimes are very beneficial.
And now the Rainbow Wahine desperate for some offense here. Credit Stanford, they've not let Hawaii get on track. We saw a lot of the energy and emotion of this team to start off in the first quarter yesterday. That's been held in check, and here's another lost possession. Shot clock to 2, and they'll have to dump it aside.
Yeah, it seems like that deep zone is really giving Hawaii some trouble, but maybe Doyle with her left-handed sharpness can get in there.
Here's Flynn now on the attack. Across the way, wave it off. Inside the 2, no goal there. No goal for Neuschel. So take it off the scoreboard there. Neuschel trying to show hands so she doesn't get excluded on the way back.
Stay out of that red without the ball. Or we need a VAR replay.
Yeah, only at the international levels right now. It hasn't made its way yet to college water polo. 2 minutes remaining here, first quarter. Lob attempt, that's off the mark. Where does Hawaii go for offense here? On the outside attack there from Silvana Sloot, that's long. Now Romer. Under 2 to play.
Attack. 3-on-2. This is going to make Hawaii hesitant.
Inside look, and a score is there. Flynn. It's all Jenna Flynn to start this off. She's got 3 goals in this first quarter, all the offense. And Stanford leads 3-0.
You know, we talk about where's the offense, right? Or let's look at Jenna here converting this great 3-on-2. The great thing about that is everyone's looking for that penalty,
yep.
So she waited that second to see if she could draw it, but she didn't get it, so she finished it. For Hawaii, we're talking about how do they get their offense, but then they're putting up these shots and then giving up counterattacks. So they need to find a good rhythm where they're attacking, using up their time, not giving up counterattacks, but still putting good shots on goal.
And the last thing they wanted to do was to get into a back and forth with Stanford, and a couple of these shots by design, right? Stanford's defense have triggered these outlets, the counters, and the 3-0 start. In some ways, if you're a Hawaii fan, you're fortunate it's only 3-0 though.
Yes.
Stanford has had power plays. They've had some good looks. They have not hit. Here's Doyle. Goes inside and drawing an exclusion as they poured into Wedderburn.
And that's what they need. They need those entry passes into set so that they could get different opportunities, different looks.
Had a look there for Aaliyah Burlock. Couldn't find her. Sloot and now Doyle. To the post. A penalty is the call. They put it up high for Wedderburn. John Tanner appealing to a higher power. And not going to get that one turned back. Second look here. They go to the post. The contest there. And the call against Stanford, a 5-meter, and Hawaii now will get a chance to get on the board. And they do score it for Emma Vernou, the high-scoring attacking freshman from France, and Hawaii needed that.
I mean, and good for them for going to the post and putting that penalty in play. Make the referee make a call, especially if you're in good position. It was a great pass, and they got the penalty.
I think from John Tanner's standpoint, right, did you see a lot of arm contact there? But there's body underneath that as well.
Yeah, I mean, we play the toughest sport, and it's also the toughest sport to officiate. Some would say that was all ball, and some would say, but is your body on
Yep.
the opponent's body? So it's hard.
There's Doyle, such a sneaky defender. James Robinson always talks about her abilities at just 5'6", the way she can meet people at the top, get up out of the water high to come up with some steals you just wouldn't think she could make. Shot clock here to 11. Final moments of this first quarter. Looking inside, and that'll be an exclusion on Brown, trying to reach over for the steal on Wedderburn. Doyle now. New life on offense here for Hawaii. They'll try and slow things down for a moment.
That momentum swing, you get one, and now you're knocking on the door.
Here's Vernou. Doyle now moves in and hits. It's a 1-goal game. Power play strike. Gabrielle Doyle.
It was, a great shot. It's also on the defenders, right? Sometimes you go one-on-one with those blockers, and blocking is key. So Stanford's goalie Carpenter was counting on her defender, but that was a great shot near side. And as coaches, we tell our athletes, like, if you beat the defender, you're most likely going to beat the goalie, especially on 6-on-5s when you're trying to make the goal smaller for the goalies.
Good resiliency here from Hawaii.
Yes.
They get down 3-0, digging out now, down 3-2, but a chance here for Stanford to end this quarter with a tally. Here's Romer. Ordinary. Shot clock is off, just 9 seconds left. Barone now. Across the pool, over to Flynn. She's had the hot hand. Ordinary with one. Quick look, Brown knocked down from behind, and that's all for the opening quarter. Stanford surging ahead. Jenna Flynn, 3 goals to lead the Cardinal. Hawaii battling back with 2 in a row to make this a ball game. Heading off to the second quarter, our first semifinal, off to a good beginning. We're back to Indy after this timeout. You're watching live on NCAA.com. There's a look at the Hawaii huddle. James Robinson, head coach, right in the middle there, was the assistant coach under longtime head coach Maureen Cole, taking over this year. Previously been at UCLA as an assistant, played for the Bruins, and has this team back here in the semifinal round. They lost to Cal last year in Berkeley in the semifinal round. They've never made an NCAA final, so a lot of what-ifs here at stake for this Rainbow Wahine squad.
You know, something just that I noticed from that first quarter in the swings is Hawaii did a great job making more out of their 6-on-5s, where Stanford went 0 for 3. So it'll be interesting. How do they get the ball into their center position to create more of those opportunities that are working for them? See if they continue with, I mean, they had the momentum at the end of that first.
You got that last defensive stop. Stanford controls the opening sprint. Don't forget live stats available on 6-8 Sports, 6-8sports.com. You can follow along with all the data as we go through this semifinal round. First of 2 today from Indianapolis, USC, UCLA to follow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Offensive foul against Stanford. And it's interesting, Brenda, each team had 2 wildly different games. I always wonder about that. Stanford was not challenged yesterday. Hawaii was. How does that benefit you or not coming into a
as
semi?
an athlete, I feel like I'd rather be challenged, but you're also not, I mean, you can't control that, right?
Yep.
So here Stanford wants to establish a game plan, be physical. So if that means offensives, it means offensive. They just have to find other ways, like saves, like blocks. So as athletes, you just have to focus on what you can control.
And you certainly want to make sure you get the win, right? So
yes.
they advance. They're in the semis now as Griffin is field blocked. Dalloween now. Dangerous lefty, the transfer from Arizona State. The look here. And that'll be a little heavy on the foul. That's an exclusion. Trying to slow down Jenna Flynn. She has 3 already, so Stanford goes back up on the power play.
Yeah, it's one of those, anything near the head, you got to protect the athletes, but that was a great drive, great pass.
Romer. Dalloween now. Flynn. That'll score. Ricocheted out of the cage, and she has all the goals for Stanford. 4 goals.
And if you look at John Tanner over there, I don't know if he was really happy with that, but I think he's happy that they finally scored a 6-on-5.
Second look at this one. Flynn able to convert.
You know, they're really using some setups from their left-hander, so it's always great to have that balanced attack on 6-on-5 and in the field of play.
2-goal edge for Stanford. That's post-up opportunity now for Griffin. They move it around here. Sloot. Shot clock to 5. Rios. And that's exactly what Stanford wants. So they're pushing everything to the outside, daring Hawaii to beat them here with some difficult perimeter shots from specific people.
Yes, and I thought that drive from Rios was great. I thought they were going to, no, not Rios.
Here's Flynn. Meanwhile, blink and you miss it. Jenna
Yes.
Flynn, a one-woman show right now, has 5 in the first half.
it's the counterattack game, right? And Coach Robinson mentioned that before the game. I think Hawaii had a great post-up by Doyle. Oh, here we go, the counterattack. One pass to a goal, that's great.
Inside.
I mean, that was a great shot from the outside. They covered their counterattack, but they just keep hitting the post.
And now in trouble here. They have to watch out. Stanford can quickly blow a game open now. 5-2 they lead with 5.5 to play. Flynn thought she might take it. Has the hot hand here.
Why not? I'm sure she has the green light.
NBA Jam rules. If she makes another one, the net catches on fire. That one is field blocked away.
You know, and great shooters of the game, right? They feel that too. If you're on, you're on. And if you get a good luck, you're not going to think twice about it.
Long outlet to Doyle.
And credit to Stanford's defense. They know they have a great goalkeeper in Carpenter. They can get into these deep zones, into this M, where they get these great counterattack opportunities.
Yeah, they have the Hawaii offense completely stifled right now. Everything is just stuck out on the perimeter and really nowhere to go.
I think they have to go to those post-ups and get the ball into center. Great drive by Quinn.
Woodhead pressured there by Salute. Flynn with about 8 on the shot clock. And everyone shows up for Hawaii, forces the ball under, and the takeaway.
Yeah, that was not Stanford's best possession. They had a few options. I think maybe too many, and they couldn't make the best decision there.
Coming up on 4:15 to play in this first half. 5-2 lead for Stanford.
Doyle on a good post up there, good drive. Let's see if they can find some room for her.
Wedderburn got the turn, but was surrounded by Stanford Cardinal. 3 caps right there, and really nothing for her to do.
But still a good attempt, right? Even with that post up. So maybe that'll be something that Hawaii will keep going to.
Offensive here on the Cardinal. Hawaii now looking to go. Stanford really hadn't made it all the way down the pool, so there wasn't much for Hawaii to do in the way of a counterattack. Cardinal had covered up well. Inside look, and that'll be an exclusion. They go into Rios.
You could hear Rio telling her teammate, get out, get out. She felt like she had a good matchup, and it worked out for them.
Love when you can hear the little conversations going on. Wedderburn inside, point blank range, but Carpenter denies it.
It was a great pass to the post.
And now Romer in transition. Hawaii hustling back.
Jenna Flynn in there posting up. Love to see it.
Turn here and a penalty. They went into neutral. That's the problem with the Stanford team. If you're Hawaii, there's so much depth on Stanford. Talking about Jenna Flynn, Ryan Neutral lurking out there. Can easily post up and draws a 5-meter.
Yeah, and then now you have Romer up there taking the penalty. So yes, a lot of weapons.
They made their first. Here's another 5-meter from Stanford. Save Lochtons. That's critical for Hawaii. Big block there.
Big block.
From the sophomore from the Netherlands. All Big West performer, All-American pick last year.
See if they can take this momentum into their front court offense.
Salute now moving in.
Rios has some good position in there.
And she'll draw another exclusion. Woodhead a bit incredulous as she swims off. A timeout called by Hawaii, just a 30-second timeout. Bows will have their 5th power play here. So big momentum opportunity, as you've alluded to here. Hawaii gets the stop on one end there on the 5-meter block. Now can they turn it into something? Again, they're the underdog here. You saw it yesterday Think about LMU, UCLA. The Bruins do end up winning that match, but the longer you can just kind of keep the thing within shouting distance.
Anything could happen.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why we love sports on any given day.
Stanford not interested in any of that. They want to build this lead up big. Wedderburn now moving in. Thought about firing from there. Hawaii on the 6-on-5. Here's Vernu. Doyle now. Lost it. Trouble there for Hawaii. These passes all over the water right now. Sides coming even. Lob attempt, and Carpenter read it all the way.
You know, with timeouts, yes, you put in your best offensive threats, but you also give your opponents an opportunity to put in their best defensive, so it's always interesting. Timeout or no timeout.
Brown across the way. Here's Nuschel. Puts her head down, and she'll draw an exclusion. And then score it for Serena Brown. They go quickly in those first 5 seconds of the exclusion. Brown has her first, and Stanford has their largest lead now, up 6-2 with 2:02 to play in the first half.
Go with percentages. The quick, and then anybody in front of that goal, 2 meters, great real estate. And Brown is so long.
The Olympian 14 Canada finishing that play off.
I mean, she was guarded, and she just went over the top. Good finish.
Nuschel now pressuring Sloot.
In their M zone, posting up with Doyle. It's been working for them.
Definitely.
We'll see if they can get their outside game established.
Not this time. Again, this is the stuff Stanford is thrilled to see. Outside shot, 7 meters, center cage. Christine Carpenter can block that all day.
Speaking of long, Brown has very long arms. Here we have Carpenter also as well.
And now an exclusion. John Tanner looking for a timeout with a power play coming for the Cardinal. They're 2 for 5. This will be their 6th opportunity coming up. With 1:17 to play here in the first half. And now, Brenda, Stanford can take a real hold on this match here. If they can go up 7-2 before the break, really put the pressure on Hawaii. And the challenge will be, because Stanford's defense is so good, Hawaii's a great offensive team, but they'll be hard-pressed to run off goals like that against the Cardinal.
And it's like they need to get the ball into set, but you need a counterattack and a quick transition. But with the speed of Stanford, so James or Robinson will have to make some adjustments if they get this in here.
So Hawaii team averaging a little more than 12 goals a game, stuck on 2 right now. Dalloween, now Romer. It's Flynn. Right inside, time for a gather, but the stop is there. Big defense from Hawaii, great field blocking, close. As we've fallen her 1 minute to go, Leah Burlock making things happen.
I wish I could ask the coach who that pass was supposed to be for, because that 3-post was really open. Great save by Hawaii.
Firing from long range again. That clangs off the cage on the attempt there from Sloot. So now about a 3-second difference, shot and game clock as we close out this first half.
I mean, those are not bad lucks. They just keep hitting the bar.
And now Dalloween in transition. And there's the 7th goal. Stanford goes in front by 5.
I love that balanced attack on any team, right? When you have these strong lefty shooters, it just opens up the game so much. Great cross pass to finish.
So Stanford, 7 goals, all from 3 Olympians for 3 different countries. That's
a stat right there.
Talent and depth of the card with 16 seconds left. And this is a little bit like what Hawaii faced when they got together in Fresno to start off the season. Just Stanford went on a burst. They were up 9-2 at one point in that game, just took complete control. With 2 seconds left, Sloot, Doyle won't even get a shot off, and that's how the first half comes to an end. A suffocating defensive effort from Stanford. Just dominant on this end of the pool. They lead 7-2. We're at halftime. Return to Indy with more after this timeout on NCAA.com. Welcome back. Let's look at highlights from the first half between Stanford and Hawaii. Cardinal leading 7-2. They got an athlete named Jenna Flynn unlocked early, and she has been on a tear. 5 goals in the first half and did it in all manner of speaking, scoring from all angles. Credit Hawaii. After Stanford made a surge, the Bows battled back. Gabrielle Doyle able to hit as they tried to work their way back into this game. But Stanford has control, up 7-2, and now a tall order here, Brenda, for the Rainbow Wahine. 2 quarters left. And what's the bigger challenge to address? That Stanford has 7 goals or that Hawaii themselves only has 2?
I think it's the 2. I think it's find ways to diversify how you are producing your goals or getting opportunities. You know Stanford's going to score goals, right? Like, you know it's going to be a higher scoring game.
Here you go. Ryan Nuschel swimming in and hitting.
Okay, take that back. It's more, how do you prevent them from scoring? Or at least that quickly, right? Like, make them use a whole possession.
This is just some athletes that have been working together for hours and hours with Team USA and with Stanford. And you see the end result.
It's like, how are they going to break down this, like, almost M zone that Stanford is running on them?
Looking inside, tipped away and stolen. And Jill Romer's there on the entry, and they tried to get Ronnie Perlman involved.
And then maybe it's matchups, right? Can they go at certain players, maybe get mismatches at center?
Long pass there. Dalloween tracks it down. Shot clock to 10. Opening minute here of this third quarter, and it's all clicking. That's a 6-pack for Jenna Flynn.
And sometimes, you know, on your team you feel it. You're going to continue to give the ball to your teammate that's on fire.
Goodness.
I love those games, right? Like, you know, I played with Maggie Steffen. It's like, give her the ball.
I'm sure you had a day or two where you...
I mean, maybe if you go back into the archives.
Dust off the old score sheets. 9-2. And it's funny, we were talking pregame, and you were asking about Jenna Flynn, and hey, when might she have this moment, right? And how about this here in the semifinal?
Yes, and I think, you know, with the team that has so many Olympians from different countries, sometimes it's not the goals that matter, right? But today, that's what she's doing for her team.
Doyle gives a look. Radosavljevic now. Shot clock to 5.
There's that post up.
And then tipped away and stolen. Nuschel, this was the role she embraced for Team USA. It wasn't necessarily her favorite thing, becoming a defender for them with all of her offensive abilities, but made it her quest to be the best defender possible, and you see those skills are still readily available.
But I think that's the way to attack it for Hawaii. They just needed one extra pass to a better entry, but you want to get the ball into set.
Healy, Dalloween, and ball under as they swarm Woodhead.
Good defense. Now they need to just get one, start chipping away at this lead.
2 minutes into the third quarter here. Hawaii just 2 for 15 from the field, and then 1 for 5 on the 6-on-5.
There's that.
And they'll draw an exclusion here. So can they build now? Their 6th opportunity.
That was
the player advantage.
Great offense for them. They quickly got the ball in on that post up, and that's what they need. They just need earlier offense so Stanford can't swarm in and make those steals.
Doyle now around the way. Perlman tried to guide that one cross cage, and a bunch of hands got in the way, and that cancels out that power play.
You know, I think if she would have gone near side, there was that opening that I think her teammate hit earlier in the game.
Dalloween now. Rebound, Woodhead. Ella. Timeout, Hawaii.
I will take that assist.
Slipping away. Woodhead with a 10-2 lead now for Stanford. That's her 22nd on the year. She sat out last year as well to train with Team USA. Here's another look.
The ball sometimes bounces your way. They're Stanford going for that quick attack. And Woodhead just popped her head up, and there it was.
Do you consider this a garbage goal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it landed anywhere else,
yeah,
it would not, you know?
Sure,
yeah.
Sure. Right place, right time.
But give her, you know, the credit. Sometimes your centers are underwater, not looking for the ball. So, and then I guess you have to score it then after, right? It can land in front of you.
You know, it's a term. It doesn't sound as negative as it's not as negative as it might sound, right? Garbage goal. It's,
yeah.
You know, you're hustling. You have your head up. You're working hard.
Yeah.
You did get the benefit of the ball dropping right in your lap, but then you put it away. So John Tanner and co. here up 10-2 with 5:08 to go in the third. As Hawaii huddles up as well, and they have to just be jolted here. Again, this is what they experienced against Stanford early in the season. They had thought they would be in a better position this time around. They had played Stanford once. They had played SC, UCLA. They beat the Bruins. They had been in some high-octane games, kind of understood the pace they had to play at, but Stanford has just ramped it up here to another level.
Yeah, and I mean, there still is a lot of game left. So then for them, it's like, how do they break the game down into smaller segments to help them get out of this, right? Like you said, they were averaging 12 goals a game. So they're at 2. So clearly they have the firepower. So it's like, how do you find a great combination that'll get you going to chip away at this lead?
Lockton's will put it in play. Here's Perlman. Looking to Radosavljevic. Quick turn, and that's off target. Wedderburn had that deflected. Wedderburn also, like yesterday, carrying the 2 fouls. She's so critical to what they do.
That was a great setup, right? It's converting. You're putting the ball where it needs to be to isolate the defense.
Across the way, and a steal by Doyle. Looking for Brown, no one home there.
I mean, good luck. But everything, it's execution.
Just about halfway through the third quarter. Hawaii scored 2 in the first. They have not scored since. Blanked in the second, scoreless here in the third. As Stanford has built this 10-2 edge. Lob here, and on cue, Doyle ends the drought. Bernadette Doyle connecting there for her 56th on the season.
And they've had some of these quick shots without faking, and now it went. So she switched up her attempt, right? The lob. It's a great placement. Hard for a goalie coming across that goal to change direction.
Looking for Sanders there. Senior on this team. Goes inside, and that's tipped away and stolen. Tried to spot Maggie Hawkins as John Tanner's been able to get some of the reserves in now.
Great defense by Hawaii, right? Like being in the right spot. So now can they build on that momentum by that goal from Doyle?
Rios moving in. Brown there, field blocking. Deflected. It was off Brown, off of Barone, and then back to the Cardinal.
I mean, that was her shot. It's like you have to step up and be confident and put something up for your team.
Sanders now nearing the 3-minute mark in this third quarter. Looking inside, now outside, deflected, and the field block there from Hawaii. Rio's got a piece of that. Hawaii doing all of this without Tara Logan, one of their key pieces. She's back home in Australia to be with family, wishing her family all the best. This Hawaii team, they miss her greatly. Of course, just a tight-knit group, but then also what she does in the pool.
You know, I think the early offense and putting the ball into set early has been working for Hawaii, so they need to find a way to get back to that.
Doyle off the post, tried to go somewhat quick there.
Then with all these posts, is it the shot blockers that are in the right position, or are we a little tired? Like as a shooter, it's always like, how do we get out of that funk?
There's a look inside. That was Cameron Barone working hard, moving to the cage, and draws the exclusion. So Stanford will have the 6-on-5. John Tanner will talk things over here. 9 NCAA titles, but 9 runner-up finishes. They appear headed back to a championship final tomorrow. Don't forget more semifinal action coming up later today. 2 p.m. Eastern, USC, UCLA. That rivalry travels well, no matter if we're in SoCal, Indianapolis. Always a great matchup. And then, of course, tomorrow's championship live on ESPNU, streaming on ESPN Plus at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. As the Cardinal huddle up. Great video produced by Go Stanford. You mentioned the Ryan Neuschel article, but John Tanner talking about Jewel Romer and just talking about water polo. Such an interesting observation that the players in the pool have the worst vantage point of anyone in the facility. Everyone else, refs, fans, announcers, they all have a better look at what's going on than the person playing the game.
Yes, and now that I'm a coach, right, not an athlete, it's always these discussions like, what did you see?
Yeah.
I saw this.
Yeah.
So there are more than one points of opinion in that, right? So then, like, how do you navigate that where it's like, yeah, coach, but you're above and can see better. I'm in the moment trying to make these quick decisions. Yeah. So as coaches, it's good to keep that in mind as we try and support and navigate decision-making that's happening in big-time moments.
So you're saying you now have a new appreciation for some of your coaches when they were trying to maybe get your opinion or offer instruction?
Yes, I do. I do appreciate my coaches more now that I'm a coach myself.
6-on-5 now for the Card. Dalloween up to her hips to grab that one. Brown, rebound. It's Woodhead again. Right place, right time. Ella Woodhead just keeps working.
She's a magnet for the ball.
Hang around good people, good things will happen.
That's a great look. That's a great block. All around good water polo, right?
Woodhead's older brothers, Dylan and Quinn, playing in Europe. Not sure what time it is where they're at. They might be watching. Actually, it won't be too bad if they're in Europe right now.
No.
Should be maybe it's interrupting their evening plans.
They either maybe just finished a game or gonna play a game. Deep zone over here by Stanford. Let's see if Hawaii can get into a rhythm and put up a good shot.
Starting to release the other way, and that one is off target. You talked about it since the jump. Stanford has been in this zone.
Yeah.
They really haven't moved off of that. Hawaii has been hard-pressed to break through. You talked about post-ups. Other ways they could try to break this up a bit?
It's early offense, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how do you get down there quick enough for them not to jam-pack that middle? And great block.
Lockton's denying Flynn, who is going for number 7.
It's, with the way the game is being played, with all the penalties that are happening, it's like you want to limit those opportunities, so they're jamming that in. But, yeah, it's early offense. But if you're playing against a team that's fast, like how do you create that early offense. All these puzzles that I'm sure Coach Robinson is trying to piece together as the game's going on.
They go inside now, and the Cardinal are there for the ball under. Just waiting for that pass to come into Rios. 2 Cardinal caps show up for the steal. And now just 30 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Again, this defensive effort here from Stanford. Take nothing away from 6 goals from Jenna Flynn, but this has just been so dominant against a really talented Hawaii squad.
Great post up by Nusho there, drawing that exclusion.
Halloween, Flynn with 7 seconds left. Sanders in the middle, Woodhead, bar out off the post. With 1 second left, they got a great look, just couldn't convert, and locked-ins will let time expire here in the third. So Hawaii gets back on the board with a tally, but Stanford with 4 more of their own, and they are in the driver's seat here in Indy. 11-3, they're in front, going to the fourth quarter, 8 minutes away from a return to the championship final. We'll step aside and return to Indianapolis after this timeout on NCAA.com. There's Jenna Flynn, the star of this one on the offensive end. 6 goals for the redshirt sophomore from San Jose, the Paris Olympian. Now 66 goals on the year, world champion with Team USA. Flynn family hoped this was going to be a sister showdown, but Cal eliminated yesterday by Hawaii. Older sister Nina, part of that Cal team.
I mean, as a parent, I think as much as you want that, do you want that? Like how, like the blood pressure during the game?
During the big splash, the Flynn parents said it's advisable that they don't guard each other. Best to stay to opposite parts of the pool. Turnover here.
Rios is really doing it all for Hawaii on this end, you know? You see her on the offensive end, defensive end.
Yeah, she has had to play a lot out there. We mentioned the foul trouble with Wedderburn, so we had to be thoughtful there. Wedderburn back in as well, but then big turn here. Speaking of Rios, just could not convert. Redshirt senior out of Santa Ana from Foothill High School. James Robinson called her the unsung hero, so she doesn't fill the stat sheet, but she's picked up more and more minutes as of late.
Hey, as coaches, you know, we need those players, so it's great to see the acknowledgement to someone that does all the little things.
That's off the bar there.
And then it's like, now how do you manage a game, right? Like you see the score, but what can you get out of this game that's going to help you for tomorrow if it continues the way it's going?
It's interesting. Hawaii obviously pushed a little bit early on. You'd suspect that whoever wins in the other semifinal will really challenge Stanford, and that'll be an interesting look to see how they respond to maybe being in a bit of a tighter game. Presumably, again, we're all just guessing right at some point here, but now up 11-3 yesterday, 28-6. They've not had that nail-biting moment here yet in Indianapolis.
Yeah, and then that's when you go to just your experience of the season, right? Like you go back to like MPSF conference play, tournament, overtime, and different things. So they have been tested. So you just trust your preparation at that point because you can't control how your opponents are.
Off the lob, the rebound, Sanders is there. Sophia Sanders cashing in. Her 20th goal on the year, senior from the Bishop School.
It's those second attempts for them that You know, one of my Olympic coaches, Guy Baker, would always say, you know, fortune favors the bold, right? So here, you know, you're attacking early, of being confident, so that ball just keeps landing back into their hand.
And now a 12-3 lead. Under 6 to play in the fourth. And again, defending well as they go inside once more. And Cameron Barone just not making life easy there for Morgan Rios. Cameron Barone out of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, finished high school in Santa Margarita. John Tanner said, didn't recruit her to become a defender. It's what she is now, though, and filling the role the team needs.
Yes, and those are the type of players now, or what, as coaches, you want to help produce, right? Like, how can you make your team better?
Wave off the second effort there from Healy, actually from Barone. So it was initially blocked. She picked up the rebound, put it back, but no goal.
I think the refs were saying Jenna might have held the defender. Who knows? You know, it's so hard to see above water.
A lot of bodies there,
yes.
In a small amount of space. So just about 5 minutes to play now. Here's Wedderburn. There's a tally from the outside for a leader on this Hawaii team. The senior, the South African Olympian from Tokyo, able to convert.
Sometimes it's just one-on-one, right? She elevated, she beat that defender to the cross side of the goal. Great shot.
That's her 68th goal on the year. Major increase in her scoring, just 38 goals last year. But
hey, smart shooter. She shot it as that defender was switching her arms, so there was that tad bit of an opening, and she nailed it.
Brings that leadership. She was the captain of that South Africa team in Tokyo as an 18-year-old.
Wow.
And now here is a senior with Hawaii, and again, one of the leaders on this group.
I mean, we keep talking about all these Olympians at this NCAA tournament from different countries, and it just reminds me of like how fortunate we are to have college and sports combined to help elevate the women's game.
Sanders blocked there by Lockton. That's one of the things you always hear from the athletes that come abroad to compete in the NCAA system. Oh, we don't have this at home. This is so cool to marry athletics and academics together in this great environment. It's either one or the other typically in every other country.
Yeah, and I remember from my experience abroad, it was always so foreign to me that they didn't combine even in high school, athletics and sports. There's different systems out there, but this system works really well for us, and it's great to see so
it's
many
funny
different
now,
countries
there's
here.
some water polo diehards that would say, we actually need is just a club system like Europe, and you just focus on it from the jump, and you figure out school on, in another way. But this college system, you talk about the growth of the women's game, especially just opportunities. It has opened so many doors.
I think maybe in the future there is a different path, but I think for now, in the last 25 years, like as the women's game has evolved, this is what has worked for the American women, right? And the dominance that they've had. So we'll see.
12-4 lead here for Stanford. Coming out of the timeout, 4:29 to go. Hawaii fans still keeping the faith here. Don't forget, up next, 2 p.m. Eastern, USC, UCLA, our second semifinal to find out who will meet Stanford for the title tomorrow. Cardinal prepping for what'll be their 19th NCAA championship final. Low skip, that's denied by Flynn, denying the Vernu try. She's been held in check. Huge score this year, 78 goals with her one tally today. But
let's see if Stanford could get this 2-goal turnaround.
Brown drops that inside, looking for Facey, but it pops loose and is over to Daisy Lochtons.
I mean, how do you stay motivated, right? You talked about 19 final appearances.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I know at the end of my career that was a thing. Like, yes, I can get up for a game, but how do you continue to get up for practices? How do you continue to prep? But I guess it's a new challenge each year, so that in itself is a motivation.
Well, especially in the college system, too. Lob attempt here and swatted away there by Carpenter. She's got 6 saves now in this one. A finite amount of time in school, right? So you know you want to make the most of those 4 years or 5 years. Right, you're just getting 7 years. Depends on the person. She's extenuating circumstances. Same for Bernadette Doyle, by the way. Doyle and Neuschel in this pool. We'll see Tilly Kearns later. 2019 NCAA tourney participants. From the outside there, and that's off target. And then for different reasons, redshirting for national teams, Olympics, COVID, those sorts of things, extended his career out. We won't see that really more after this season. We'll see a timeout call. But to your point about what keeps you going, right? So we see a change now, and we'll see a sub. Jackie King will come on to finish things out. Goal here for Stanford, and they'll get to sub out some of their key pieces. There's always a question for you at the Olympics, right? To keep going, because it was a massive commitment to make it to that next Olympic milestone.
I love seeing Neuschel's reaction to that timeout, because she was working on that counterattack. She's like, what are you doing? But, I mean, it's great. I'm sure she'll appreciate the moment that's happening right now of getting everyone in the pool.
Yeah, nice chance here to get some substitutes in. Get a round of applause here from the Stanford fans that have made the trip. And for Hawaii, they just ran into a juggernaut here in the Stanford Cardinal. Kept it close very early on. Showed some fight there to battle back, and then just could never get their defense, rather their offense going. Their defense as well, right? Stanford 12 is not a ridiculous number, but it was more about breaking through the Cardinal defense where they found their biggest challenge.
Yeah, or making them score not on the counterattack, right? Like taking away those higher percentage attack opportunities.
Pasquale now on. Here at 6 meters. Looks to go inside. That pass a little shy of the intended recipient. And now stolen away. And back to the Rainbow Wahine. Lockton's with 4 saves in this one.
Let's see if Hawaii can put a little more pressure on the lineup that Stanford has in right now.
2.5 to play in the 4th. And they'll dump it aside with the shot clock about to expire. It was Esme Royan, the sophomore from the Netherlands, who's come on. Pressure there from Sloot. Some good young pieces coming back, presumably for Hawaii. Lockton's just a sophomore. I know Bernadette Doyle is senior, but younger sister Gabrielle, just a freshman. Emma Vernu, a freshman. The exclusion called here, as Royan will go out. Radosavljevic has eligibility left, so some big pieces potentially back next year for Hawaii. A tip there.
Nice tip, break up that sequence.
And they make it look easy. Slam it home, Eleanor Facey.
And the patience. It looked like Facey was open throughout that 6-on-5, but credit to Hawaii, they tipped it, so kind of broke it up, but they still found her there.
Defender just late closing, and now 13-4. Stanford now 4 for 9 on the player advantage here with 90 seconds to go in this 4th quarter. Off the post on that attempt from the outside. Royan couldn't convert.
Good attempt. Just someday those posts are not your friend.
Royan and Lockton's teammates with the Netherlands on their U20 bronze medal squad back in 2023. Getting a chance here together in the NCAA tourney. Shot clock to 6. Looking inside and tipped away and stolen. Watkins is there for the recovery with 37 seconds left. And James Robinson will call for time. So one final chance to gather up the group here. With just 33 seconds left. We're looking ahead, USC, UCLA. They've played twice this year. They split, so the rubber match coming up here in the semifinal. Excited to see what we'll get out of those two teams that you just feel like know each other so well. There's like not something new to unveil in the NCAA championship. So it's, can what we do be better than what you do on this one day?
On this one day. It's interesting that they've only played twice.
Yep. Yeah, just kind of the way the schedule bounced. They played early in the year, then they had their crosstown, splashdown LA matchup, and then did not connect at MPSF. So see they're coming up there at 2 Eastern. Look at the Flynn family. They have the custom shirts there.
Yes.
With the Cal and the Stanford logo.
You love to see it. I feel like often you'll get a group of sisters that'll end up at the same school. So it is always interesting to see when they divide. Stanford's packing it back.
And the save there by King. Got it into Wedderburn. The turn and the stop. Shot clock is off now, and Stanford can take the rest of the time and swim their way on to the championship. So they'll count it down. The Cardinal returning to the championship final here in Indianapolis. They won it all here in Indy back in 2017. They'll have a chance to do it again with a dominant effort over Hawaii, 13-4. Jenna Flynn, 6 huge goals. And they limit the Rainbow Wahine on the offensive end to just 2 goals in the second, third, and fourth quarters combined, shutting down one of the more prominent offensive teams in the country. What a day for Flynn. What a day for the Cardinal, Brenda.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about defense winning championships, right? So this is a good game for them, good flow for them leading into tomorrow. And
then never easy to have your season end, no matter how far down the road you get. That's what happens here for Hawaii as they end at 22-5. Another excellent year for the Bows, but they went up against one of the most talented programs in the country in Stanford. And so Cardinal moving on to the championship. They were not in the final last year. John Tanner said it was kind of weird to watch that thing on TV. Had to do that sometime. He's back in it now, and he'll await the winner of our next semifinal. As we look at the latest bracket, we know that Stanford, the 1 seed, everything holding to form as it has thus far all weekend. The Cardinal moving past Wagner and now moving past Hawaii with this 13-4 victory. So they are into the final tomorrow at noon Eastern. They await our next match, UCLA USC, coming up at about 2 p.m. Eastern. Winner there will take on the Cardinal, and then we'll have our championship tomorrow at noon Eastern on ESPNU and ESPN+. So that's all for this one. Stanford backed by 6 from Olympian Jenna Flynn. Power past the Rainbow Wahine with a 13-4 victory. For Brenda Villa, Greg Meskel saying thanks for joining us. We're back at about 2 p.m. for USC and UCLA live on NCAA.com.